Yo, all over the world we about to go. Truth is coming out, that's what you need to know. Blacks and Hispanics is the Israelites you need to know. You ain't never gonna hear this from a pastor though. You done ended in the den with some lions. You done ended in the den with some lions. You done ended in the den with some lions. Think you coming in here with your sin, don't even try me on the mission. Telling Israel to repent before your time is up. Every city on the corner in your hood is where you finding us. Casting out imaginations, Christians might not like it, but we raising up an army exceedingly, we are rising up. We all about the mission, we living until the kingdom come. Destroyed for lack of knowledge, so that's what we here to give them up. Blessing for the people, cause although we have no equal, we out here living so evil and comfortable living feeble. All over the world, we about to go. Truth is coming out, that's what you need.
All right, we back. We back. Hey, so
back with the topic.
Gideon, what we got next?
Yes, sir. So we got going right into Too Cruel for School. The topic
Too cool?
Too cruel.
Too cruel. Okay.
The cruelty and cruel.
All right.
Cruelty in our school system. So we're gonna start off with this Instagram video first.
Man, this was crazy, right?
Yeah,
here.
yeah. No, I really like that. Was something else.
Yeah.
It was a good video, Cap.
Push play.
Yeah.
Teachers at Yale showed teachers this video clip of 4 preschool students. Their instructions: look for misbehavior and click when you see it. The study was kind of deceptive. None of the kids in the video actually misbehaved. The researchers were using eye tracking software. What they actually wanted to study was who the teachers were watching. Both Black and white teachers spent significantly more time watching the Black boy in the video. This study showed that even preschool teachers can treat kids differently based on their race without even realizing it. Look elsewhere in the US school system and you'll see this show up in other ways, like at this middle school in Bryan, Texas. They gave students tickets for offenses like disrupting class or using profanity. Black students were 4 times more likely than white students to receive those tickets. Nationwide, Black boys miss way more school due to suspensions than any other group. And this can start a kind of chain reaction. Missing weeks of school due to suspensions makes students much more likely to drop out. Without a diploma, you're much less likely to earn a living wage and much more likely to be incarcerated. All this missing school is helping to drive the highest poverty and incarceration.
All right. So it's showing that racism, that bias is what give me one of your big words. You know, I don't want to say it's innately in these other nations, because they said none of the people did anything wrong. None of the kids did anything wrong, but yet the Black kid was the one that was basically on trial.
There's there's actually another study that Harvard does. I don't know. We probably don't have it pulled up, but maybe if IT can find it, it's the same sort of thing, and it's a free resource you can use online. And I seen, like, it was like a Dateline or a 60 Minutes episode where this woman who's like super pro-Black activist, Harvard professor, she teaches African American studies, all this stuff. She took the test on racial bias, and it does things like kind of like the blue eye green eye test that you that the Edomite woman does, but it tests your racial bias, and you have to make quick decisions about who's good, who's bad, who's good, who's pretty, who's ugly, things like that. And even herself, when the results came up, she leaned more towards favoring whiteness. And that goes to show you the intense amount of witchcraft that occurs here in America. Can I actually get a precept on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Nahum chapter 3 and verse 4 and 5. Because I learned about this in college in behavioral science classes I had, but all these very benign sort of operant conditioning, or we're always conditioned to believe a certain way against our own people. The marketing does it. Movies do it, all kind of thing. Anytime you see anything black, it's always painted in a negative light. Come on.
This is Nahum chapter 3, verse 4. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms, of the well-favored harlot.
The well-favored harlot is America. Come on.
The mistress of witchcraft.
It says she's the mistress of witchcraft. She has gone to great depths in order to promote her witchcrafts, which our people fall under that spell as well. Come on.
That selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcraft.
Verse 5.
Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts.
It says the Most High God is against that and the evil that they perpetuate here. Come on.
And I will discover thy skirts upon thy face.
And he's going to expose the evil that's being done. And he's doing it through the prophets nowadays. We have stuff like this. We bring it out on the radio. And when we go on the street and teach, so we can be able to identify what's going on with this country. Come on.
And I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame.
So every bit of evil and witchcraft that America is pushing is going to get revealed in its time. Thus saith the Lord.
Hey, it goes into it's just a Jedi mind trick, right? The whole is trying to portray all the black kids are being mistreated in the school, so they should get treated better, right? A kid's not supposed to be in the school.
Right.
That's the whole thing with our people. We shouldn't have to worry about how they get treated in the school system because they shouldn't even be in that system. Revelation 18:4 said, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers in her sin. So all your kids, all your parents who have kids in those schools, your kids are going to partake in the sins that's going to be going on with the schools, with the transsexuals, the babies, and all that stuff like that. Our kids are not supposed to be in the school system, period, anyway. But that whole little thing is they're trying to portray that,
hey,
our kids are getting done bad. Meanwhile, they shouldn't be up in that joint.
Right. Hey, IT, you could pull up the picture I just sent you a while ago. I was just going to back you up on that because that for real, that ain't nothing new. I remember when I was kindergarten, the first thing was, Weekend America, first thing was, oh, he's hyperactive. My pops used to come up there like, all right, so what's the problem with the school, with the grades? It's like nothing. You take the call.
Hey, shalom, caller. What's your name and what's your comment or question?
Well, I just go earlier, but I just want to say, I was like that kid who y'all just showed because I was in ESC classes and stuff like that when I was in school, and I remember they told my mom, my dad, I was slow. I couldn't read or write or do anything. But later on in life, I have proved them wrong. And definitely, you can't follow Esau because, they wanted to put me in prison and all that, put me in a bad system. But thank God for the Most High. Right now I'm doing well right now. Right now I'm a manager at Walmart right now. Even things
all praises.
Thank God for the Most High because let me tell y'all, man, please do not take our kids out of these schools, man, and homeschool them because Esau I'm going to quit a jail system because I work with a bunch of I.U.I.C. Believe me, bro, and I work down in South Florida. These white people are so dumb and stupid, and it scratched me. It's like when you work around Esau, you're like, how y'all make it? And it's like, that's one thing I just want to say, man.
All praises, all praises. Yeah, and we're going to prove what you said as we go on with this. But we thank you for your comment and keep watching, brother.
And it all come from those, I don't want to call them dumb like that, but it was dumb. Back in the 60s, MLK realized what? He was integrating with a burning house. We wanted to keep integrating, get our kids in the schools. No, we should have kept the same schools, same businesses. This was integration done for us. Like, for example, that brother right there on that story you telling about. And ain't nothing wrong, ain't nothing to be wrong with us. But we in their school system.
All right. Hey, you could pull it. You could read that real quick. It's going back into the school system.
School, place or institution devoted to teaching and learning. In the early history of Israel, the home was the primary agency for religious training, which was imparted chiefly through conversation, example, and imitation. All teaching was religiously oriented.
So in our history,
hey, what book is that?
That's the Zondervan.
Zondervan.
Dictionary.
Bruh.
Hey, that's fine.
Go to Second Maccabees real quick.
Bruh.
Second Maccabees chapter 7 and verse 27.
Bring it out.
Because homeschooling, that's always been, and hey, all praise to the Most High. When we first came in the body, we found out about that. Listen, that was like one of the first things we did. That was one of the best things. I remember picking up my daughter one day. Edomite came up to me, start teaching the kids the truth. They started to dress differently. And he tried to basically have a conversation with my oldest child and making it seem like she's making this stuff up. So I looked at him in his face. I said, no, I told her that. He was like, oh. And he backed away from the call.
Right.
Read that real quick.
Second Maccabees chapter 7, verse 27. But she, bowing herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, spoke in her country language on this manner. O my son, have pity upon me that bore thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee suck 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education.
Right, sisters homeschooling. And like I said, you got your religious instruction, you got everything in the home. So there was no, you had to worry about them celebrating no pagan holidays and all that kind of stuff. So absolutely, man.
Hey, and what's heavy about what you just brought out? That's why part of that crafty counsel is having our women getting better education, better paying jobs, so on and so forth. And now, I was watching how you got sisters. I remember when I first started seeing sisters like throwing garbage, right? And I was like, something is just really wrong with this. Like, because to me, that's a manly job. Right. And now you got sisters doing that. And now you got sisters driving trucks and stuff like that. And they staying way away from the house. Who's raising the children? Hey, shalom, caller. What's your name, comment, or question?
Shalom. My name is Donna. I'm calling from Maryland. And I just wanted to make a comment about the school system. When my son was in 4th grade, he's basically a quiet child. And the school had brought out a whole panel of psychiatrists and all of these different school administrators to find out why my son is so quiet. So because they think he was too quiet. So they were trying to base their emphasis on his education, that because he's too quiet, they think something was wrong with him. So I said, so because he's quiet, you deem that you have a mental issue? And the principal was just looking at me like, yeah. I was like, no, he don't have a mental issue. I said, the issue is you all in the school that have the problem. My son don't have an issue because he's quiet and he's paying attention in the class. So I asked, I said, is he getting his work done, or what is the issue? But they really couldn't answer. So I realized what they were doing at that point is to classify him, put him in a box, as to say, well, okay, because they haven't offered to put him on medication and stuff like that. I said, hell no, he's not. None of that is going on.
Hey, was that like an interracial school? I asked you the question. Was it like that was an interracial school with like white kids and white teachers in it, or what kind of school was it?
Yeah, they have. I'm in DC. Well, not DC. I'm in Maryland. In fact, and the school is all manner of different.
So it had white teachers and things of that nature, right?
Yes, all of the teachers.
Yeah, that's a white thing. That's the Esau. That's a white thing. I went to an all black and Hispanic school from 1st to 9th grade. I never heard of ESC and none of that stuff like that. We never had none of those issues. It was a parochial school, but it was all blacks and Hispanics in the school. All black teachers. I never had no friends that were special needs. None of that. I didn't know none of that until I went to
I never grew up
a public school.
I never grew up in any
in like 10th grade.
I came from Guyana, and I never grew up with any of that. So when I first came here and I heard of all these different classification of where to put kids, it was like baffling to me. But I kind of caught on really fast about what their special ed programs were and all these different things. Because the education that I got, it was a little different from over here. Our education in the islands is somewhat a little higher than a lot of the education that they get here, to some degree. But anyway, so they try to put my son in a situation. So I immediately, me and his dad spoke, and I spoke to his dad about it. And, after that, they never contacted me regarding putting him anywhere except to, when he comes to school, to do his work, because there was no way that I was going to tolerate them putting my son in it or trying to give him medication because they deem him whatever they think he is.
And what you'll find out is that
I kind of shut that down pretty much. Yeah.
What you'll find out, sis, they do a lot of that to our black kids over here. You were saying, Officer Michael, there's programs where they make money off of that. So they'll label our kids and won't be nothing wrong with them. But we appreciate your call and continue to watch, sister, all right? Yeah, go ahead.
When I was in undergrad, we actually were shown a study about how labeling affects children. It's called labeling theory. And it was a group of kids that one group, even if they did well, they would be chastised and talked down upon. Their outcomes years down the later, they ended up having problems in and out of jail, things like that. But the kids who did the bad stuff, they were still praised, and they had great outcomes: bankers, lawyers, doctors, all kind of things. Crazy.
Shalom, caller. What's your name, question, or comment?
Shalom, most time. Christ bless this brother Joe.
What's going on, bro?
No, I just want to comment. On the what's going on. They did me like that as a child. Really, mostly mine wasn't like they saying, oh, he got ADHD, but I used to be like a jokester, have control over the almost every class, like they're like, we gotta separate him. They put me in something what they called it. They got me in there with like damn, like not the special ed. I'm gonna say special ed. I ain't gonna be disrespectful. They got me in there with special ed people. Why? When I know in my right mind, my grade is good and all that, but they just like single me out. Then my point is, they sent me to a doctor. They said the only way you'll stay in school is just you take this medicine. He told me the two things. It was an old Edomite. He said it's two things that gonna help you survive in the world is taking a pill and knowing how to swim. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
so what happened?
What is that?
Did you take the medicine?
Yeah, when I took it, like it made me like all calm and like I'm just reading. Like I don't know, I'm just reading out. I don't know. It made me like I was on. It actually, I was on like probation. They got some type of meth in it, like so where it make you like constant. It made me concentrate. Like I'm just quiet, and that ain't me.
Right,
that ain't
right.
That ain't right, bro. Like, that shit ain't right, man.
Okay, hey, we appreciate you for calling. Continue to watch, and we gonna get back and try to get a couple more of these articles out the way. Appreciate you, bro. What's the next one we got?
Yes, sir. It's the video y'all got right now. Ohio schools.
Hey, hold the calls for a minute, man. Let's try to get through some of these.
Yes, sir. Yeah, most definitely. Just go through the whole thing. All right, we'll probably stop at 133 actually.
Iowa school district over their new gender policies that were rolled out behind parents' backs. New rules allow children as young as 12 years of age to choose a new gender, new pronouns, a new name, and the option to participate with their preferred gender in gym class. Nicole Neely, founder and president of Parents Defending Education, which brought the suit, joins me now. Nicole, my initial reaction was, Iowa? How is this happening in the heart of traditional American values?
Isn't it astonishing? If it can happen in Iowa, it can happen anywhere. And that's one of the reasons that we thought it was so important to bring this lawsuit, to show that this is the kind of thing that parents have to keep an eye out no matter where they live.
The lawsuit claims these gender support plans authorize children to make fundamentally important decisions without parental involvement to then hide these decisions from parents. Why do they think it's appropriate to give a child this sort of power and responsibility?
Right. As you said, beginning in 7th grade, the child's decision takes precedence over that of the family. And the school actually, this is a district where parental approval is needed to give a child aspirin. Yet they're encouraging children to create these support plans, hide this information from their parents, essentially lead a double life, which is terrifying because they're encouraged. And really, I think the school district is implying that families are not safe. It's putting that idea in children's heads that they won't be accepted, but we as a school district will, which is horrifying.
Nicole, why does it seem...
Hey, you know what, Officer Michael, you went to school out there in Iowa, right? They say that's a place of traditional values.
Hey, this is all white stuff. White. The only people out there was black was the football team and basketball team. And we all stuck together. Hey, Romans 13:11. Knowing that the time is now, the time that now it is high time to awaken. People, I'm trying to tell you, I'm an example. This don't go on in black schools with black teachers. All this stuff is integrated. The brother that I called in, it was integrated ESC, all that bull crap. This is some Edomite stuff, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get back to at least going to black schools run by black teachers and black students. I'm telling you, that's all the example. The lady brought her son over here from the islands. She ain't had to deal with none of that stuff. This is all the white man's public school system. I didn't go to a integrated school till about 10th grade, and it was way different. It was way more free in terms of just doing whatever the hell you wanted to do.
Hey, but that wasn't that last week when we seen the sister who was all about the transgender stuff?
Yeah.
So our people, even though we might have black schools, they might still even be bought in on Esau's agenda, especially if they are sisters, man.
Yeah.
That thing's
And
crazy.
one thing Esau does to combat it too is I'm a testament of it because when I was I think it was sophomore year in high school, I went from a predominantly white school to a right. So predominantly white school to a predominantly black school, and I think most of the stuff I learned in sophomore year we
Were you
learned
scared?
in 7th grade. No, I was good.
Okay.
But most of the stuff I learned, we learned in 7th grade in Esau's education systems.
Yeah.
So what they do, they give our children a worse education where you're learning stuff that they learned in middle school. So then what it does is the parents, they feel need to try and bring you to the white schools to get you a better education. That's what they do.
No, yeah, one of the predominantly white high schools I was going to at the time, the one he was talking about, a lot of the Jake kids that was going there, those were kids that were in the inner city, and the parents would figure out ways. Parents was figuring out ways to get their kids all the way from the inner city, which the schools wasn't accredited at, and bringing them all the way up to those wider schools. But again, like Officer Michael was saying, now you have to face a new challenge of them wanting to claim that you have ADHD, mental disorders. They're gonna push that. That was a big agenda that was being pushed when I was growing up. In that high school was. The first fruits of it, basically, of that LGBTQ community, saying that it's the same thing as being black, basically. Being gay is the new black. We're going through the same oppression, all that BS. So, no, it's 100% true. But another thing is that when you notice it, like they were saying, their main objective is to have the school be enforcing all that, where the parents don't know anything that's going on. Like Officer Yahaziel was saying, is that's the complete opposite of how we should be doing things. Running schools it was parent involved. It was homeschooling. The parents, and we're teaching them under righteousness of religion, where now we just send our schools off to school for 8 hours, 1/3 of their day, and they're just getting indoctrinated there. Oh, choose your pronoun for the day. What do you want to be? You want to be a baby? That's nice. Oh, you want to go from Michael to Michelle?
Every day is Halloween in school.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Every day is Halloween in school now.
Yeah.
You could be what you want to be.
Yep.
Till you come back home and then your parents be trying to straighten that out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And
Esau was mad because a girl got raped in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because the dude went in there dressed up as a girl and raped his daughter. So that's how easy this. That's what's going on in the damn school system now. I can't imagine being in school nowadays, bro.
Hey, if you got your kids in public school, Snatched them out of there, man.
Yeah, for real.
Hey, let's read about the
I don't
public
wanna
school.
be
Get
there.
that in Isaiah 60, 1 and 2. Let's read about the public schools. and go to Article 5. Because
This
we
Isaiah.
ain't got time for
Not
we're not gonna be to hit all of them.
This Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee.
Uh-huh.
For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth.
That's what we seeing right now in these in these churches and in the school system. Go ahead.
And gross darkness the people.
Uh-huh. That's on us. Go ahead.
But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee.
And that's why the Lord has given us these different outlets, giving our people these different outlets, whether it's I.U.I.C TV, whether it's these our multiple shows and during the week. Yep, watch and read, Biblical Smoke, Joseph's Dream. All of these are different outlets so that our people can receive the truth and come out of that darkness.
Yes, sir.
Come on, what we got next?
All right. So, article number 5. Guns are now the leading cause of death for American children. Scroll down. Yes, sir, right there. Firearms have surpassed motor vehicle crashes as the leading cause of death among American youngsters, with official data showing a strong rise in gun-related homicides, such as the killing of 19 children in a Texas school rampage. Overall, 4,368 children and adolescents up to the age of 19 died from firearms in 2020, a rate of 5.4 per 100,000. A dashboard by the Center of Disease Control and Prevention showed.
Hold on just a second. I want to put this in perspective. So on a given Saturday, when they got a college football coliseum filled with people, 5 of them people gonna drop dead before they leave the game
From a gunshot.
from a gunshot. Just think, and what's crazy, it says per 100,000, right? And what's crazy is you might, and you could answer this better than me, but you might have 100 of them coliseums every Saturday that you could compare that to.
Hey, but this go back to like what Mike was saying about this white people problem, because we've been getting shot down by guns. I'm like, what do you mean by American kids? Chicago alone, like that's one of the major ways we die anyway. So when he talking about them Columbines and them Edomite children getting shot up in the school by other crazy white folks.
Yeah, because in our neighborhoods, we get hit by stray bullets.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Homicides made up nearly 2/3 of the gun deaths. By comparison, there were 4,036 deaths linked to motor vehicles, the previous leading cause of death among this age group. The gap has been narrowing as road safety measures have improved over the decades, while gun-related deaths have risen. The trend lines crossed in 2020, the latest year for which data is available. A finding identified in a letter to the New England Journal of Medicine last week. The letter's author noted that the new data was.
Hey, there's like nothing else you need to read on this, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, no, that was.
I thought he was going to end at some point. I'm like,
I thought you wanted something else. My bad.
You put it together, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right. Go to the next article, man. He's gonna read the whole article.
Yeah, my bad. I'll just paraphrase this.
Like Sunday morning, I'm gonna read the whole Sunday paper and.
Drink some coffee.
Oh man, I did want to just to quote Isaiah 60 and 2, how it talks about like what you were saying earlier, Officer Yahaziel, about how our people, we've been going through this thing. Like we've been suffering through gun violence. We've been suffering through LGBT rampaging through our communities. And now it's finally catching up to the white people where they starting to get a little bit of that darkness while we've been in that gross darkness. They like, oh, we don't like that. We don't like that at all.
That's like I remember back when crack came out, and it wasn't a problem until I remember specifically, I think it was like 60 Minutes or something I was watching, and nurse, Edomite female nurse got hooked on crack. And it made 60 Minutes. And I'm sitting here like, man, half my neighborhood is hooked on crack. But now one white woman get hooked on crack, and now it's a problem. So,
hey, we gonna have B-roll from Detroit, and it's gonna be a whole roll of Jake off on something, and they're not gonna bat an eye at that because it's been going on. It's normal down there.
100%.
Go ahead, what you got?
Yes, sir. We're going to blitz through this one. Just go down. You want to get to
So
the point?
read it. Read the top.
My bad.
Yeah, you go.
Let's just roll for the title.
Two potential
Reading nothing but the
threats.
title.
Black parents fear more school cops in response to mass shootings. They provide a false sense of security for people who are not a target to police, one parent said. Go down, so that's mainly the topic right there. But we can scroll down a little more, where it starts at Washington. Right there, yeah. Washington. Senators working toward the landmark gun deal in the wake of the Uvalde, Texas elementary school shooting have emphasized the need to boost funds for campus security. But the prospect for more police officers in the school is making some black parents feel less safe.
Hey, black people are retarded, bro. They're getting shot down in the school, but they don't want more protection. No, we don't. We want less police in the school.
Right.
I guarantee everybody, all the Northern Kingdom parents, are not in agreement with that. Because if the police was there, like more presence there, the guy would have been confronted faster than what he was. Even though that whole thing was a debacle by the police, but black people are retarded. Right. Let's bring less police in so we can feel more safe with less police.
Stop being a damn fool. Wild. Scroll down a little bit more. Scroll down a little bit more. Right there, yeah. In interviews with NBC News, other black parents echoed similar concerns, and research supports their worry. A 2021 study from SUNY Albany and Rand Corporation found that while school resource officers can be linked to a decrease in certain types of violence, they do not prevent school shootings or gun-related accidents. Scroll down a little bit more. Yeah, that may have been the whole article, but basically that's where their concern was coming from, is that they felt that the security officers that are there are more or less to stop their own black children, but not to stop mass school shooters. So their concern comes in is that they're scared that there will be more police violence within the school instead of stopping school shootings.
Hey, can we get Romans 13:3?
Thanks for joining the show, Jeff. Hey, been looking over there. You hey, can I pull a scripture here? Come on, wait, hey, can you go ahead and introduce yourself, man?
Hey, shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless. This is Officer Zeph, and I'm back in the Lion's Den. In the den with some lions.
Welcome back to the Lion's Den, bro. All right, go ahead and pull your scripture, man.
Hey, but yeah, this is to land back what Officer Michael was just expounding on. How the parents, that's crazy. That's not even logical. All this violence going on, and you don't want the people there that's supposed to protect against that. And that's because, well, we're going to bring it out. Read this.
This is Romans chapter 13, verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good works.
Rulers are not a terror to good works. So guess what, black parents that are upset about more police being in the schools, if you were teaching your kids the commandments of God and how to conduct themselves rightly in society, you wouldn't have to be worried about the police coming up to them and just doing certain things. Now we know there's bad seeds out there and certain police that just are gonna do what they gonna do, but you have to teach your kids to conduct themselves rightly and know how to navigate properly in these certain situations they find themselves in. If the police roll up on them and they sitting there getting mouthy with them, don't want to adhere to the commands that they're giving, already have the appearance of a thug and all these things, what you think's gonna happen? It's time to start teaching our kids right. Read.
Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power?
We wouldn't even have to be afraid of the power if we were keeping the commandments of God.
Right.
But we don't want to do that. So now we want to buck back. Like that's the problem. No, us not keeping the commandments is the problem. Period, point blank.
Hey. How many police shootings have we seen of the police shooting the kids in the school?
Right.
I haven't seen it. We haven't seen some Well, no, I'm saying we've seen that, but we've seen some like body slams or they rough them up, but they ain't been killing the kids in the school. That hasn't happened.
Hey, jump down to that. What's that article? 8, Oklahoma.
Oh yeah.
Let's get to that, man.
Yes, sir.
You know what parts you want out of that? That looks like an interesting article.
It was good. Yeah, we're gonna go to the video of it.
Okay.
We'll start at we'll start at
we got a video.
5 seconds. Yeah, there should be a video on it.
All right, cool.
Kind of describes everything in the article.
Hey, while they're pulling that up, that reminds me of when I was in school, the black school, actually. So when did
trying to get some street cred.
Had his black card. What's his black card?
So when I was at the black school,
The
guys.
black school. I didn't always go to the white school.
So what ended up happening was it was a time period where a lot of kids were bringing in IT. Man. So IT, they were bringing in. See it? They got me jacked up. So now kids, they were bringing in guns and knives into the school. So what the school ended up doing to try and combat it, they brought in like metal detectors. The parents ended up complaining, got the metal detectors taken out, and then like a week later, somebody got hurt. Same exact thing.
We had that back in the day. We had that back in the day,
I was about to say, every public school I went to, that was a regular. You had to scan your ID, all of that.
Right,
so,
right.
I mean, shoot, it was more secure in there than anywhere. Like, it felt like TSA, straight up.
Yeah.
Especially like the basketball games and stuff like that, man. That was TSA right there, bro.
Nah, I didn't go to a lot of black schools, but actually,
No?
actually none.
No?
None.
Roman J. Esquire.
But you watched one on TV, though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I got to see it. I got to
lean on me. See, lean on me.
The virtual experience.
But no, the funny thing about it though is like, when have you heard about a mass shooting in a black school?
Right.
No, real talk.
You know what I'm saying? And that's without the police there.
Not a mass shooting, but some shootings, though. I can tell you. Not a mass shooting, but
That was
shooting.
the Northern Kingdom school.
We don't do that. We curse a teacher out and cut school.
Exactly. Go smoke something. You know.
All right. Go ahead and play that video.
Play to 45, then we'll go to 110.
Viral. Missouri State Representative Ian Mackey confronts a colleague over an amendment that would allow schools to restrict transgender athletes' participation in sports.
I grew up in a school district that would vote tomorrow to put this in place. And for 18 years, I walked around with nice people like you who took me to ball games, who told me how smart I was, and who went to the ballot and voted for crap like this. Thank God I made it out, and I think every day of the kids who are still there, who haven't made it out, who haven't escaped from this kind of bigotry.
Joining me now is Timothy Snyder, professor of history at Yale University and author of On Tyranny, which will be released in an expanded audiobook.
Man, this is some more white people problems.
This is white people problems. But it goes into the public school in general. I kind of wanted to bring these articles out just to show our people that the main thing that we should be focusing on as a nation is making sure that we're getting out of these public schools so we don't have to deal with these white people problems. That we start instituting homeschooling for our kids, like we said, I.U.I.C. for a long time, and we still are pushing to start our own schooling system. So we need to make sure we supporting that thing, pushing that thing forward. But unless we do that, guess what? It's going to keep continuing to affect our kids that are not only going to those white schools, but it's going to bleed into the schools that we're going to.
So you're saying brothers is going to start suiting up for the girls basketball team and girls track team now?
Right. Some of them, the whacked out ones, the buggy ones, the buggy brothers.
I ain't gonna be second string. I'm gonna go to the sister side and dominate.
It's gonna be a Joanna man.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Man.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I thought this was going to go to like critical race theory or something.
It is. The next part of it kind of.
Well, get to the part. Get to that.
Yes, sir. Go to 110. Go to 110 and stop at 3. So it kind of goes a little bit into the critical race theory, and then we'll go to 5 minutes and then 16.
So-called critical race theory. Florida banning math books because they claim it teaches critical race theory. Just a number of bills, anti-trans bills, 153 anti-trans bills in 34 states. Just a massive number of anti-abortion bills in 536 laws so far in 42 states, anti-CRT bills. I put them together in one thing, which is fascism. It is this mania about trying to boost up white conservative Christian men and push down women and anything that's other than heteronormative, relationships. What do you see?
I think.
Can you pause it real
you're
quick?
certainly right that.
I just want to interject a point because the way, again, how our black women are is that they'll see it as, oh, it's a woman problem. They're attacking the woman. No, she's not looking at it as it's a problem for the whole nation. Those things is starting to attack the nation as a whole. Critical race theory, all these things that they're implementing in schools, saying that you can't learn math now because it's racist, that you can't learn about the history that our forefathers went through. Now it goes from, oh, it affects the whole nation to no, it just oppresses women and trans women of color. But that's a part I kind of wanted to stop there. Keep going though. Keep going.
From a male point of view, a lot of what this is doing is trying to drive anxiety, to teach men that it's normal for there to be roosters, like figures like Trump or Putin, or for that matter, Hitler and Mussolini. These hyper-performing types are fascist types. And then the rest of us, other men, are we producing enough children? Are we male enough? That is a fascist model, where you have this guy who struts at the top, and then everyone else is supposed to be worried and follow along with him for that reason.
Michael, Eric Dyson, I think about the Jews will not replace us and you will not replace us. Those are the two things that the Charlottesville, they were sort of like, thugs and, I don't know, in tan suits, walking down the street, marching, you will not replace us. To me, that was a hyper-masculinity flex, too. It was this anxiety among these young college-aged men that somehow, taking away a statue of a long-dead white man who owned slaves was somehow threatening their very existence on this earth. And that, in their view, somehow Jewish people were fomenting this conspiracy to replace that kind of white man. Yeah,
we 3 minutes in. All right, go to the next part. So on that part, again, just how it goes back into how, I guess, on a spectrum of how we already know how it affects our people, but we know that these things start to bleed over into what white people are doing, and what they're starting to do now from seeing all this stuff is they're starting to radicalize. Like Bishop saying, like, for the longest, it's going to get to a point where it is going to come to like a race war is what they try and call it, but it's going to get to a point where that insurrection that it talks about in Second Esdras is going to take place because of that rousing of the nation. They're going to feel like, oh, our rights are being threatened. Oh, our citizenship is being threatened. Oh, we're being pushed to the corner, and they're going to start looking at the Israelites. Y'all the problem.
This is still part of us assimilating and looking for our oppressors to protect us.
Yeah.
Okay, instead of like you pulled earlier in Revelations 18:4, coming up out of it.
Yeah.
Coming up out of the churches, coming up out of the school systems, because now when you see this, and once again, here's part of the assimilation. Who's at the front of it right there? Whose face you see?
The black woman.
The black woman. Dominating the conversation, setting the tone and the narrative of the conversation. Go ahead and finish that.
Yeah, it's just a little last part. I think it's 5 minutes to 6:10. That's it. The end of it. Everything else was just
the black woman with her Negro-pean hair and push play.
Kind of that particular type of right-wing white man with, I don't know what, I guess with brown people, black people, with immigrants, etc. I put it all together, and it is down to not just masculine anxiety, but racial anxiety. What do you see?
Yeah, well, they certainly go together. The history of toxic racism is the history of toxic anti-women beliefs, femophobia, a fear of real women showing up. And when a real woman shows up, it challenges the testosterone level of men. They somehow feel they have to reassert violently their prerogative to not only lord it over women, but other men as well.
Hey, hold up, man. Hold up. This brother just completely mailed in his man
Michael
card.
Eric Dyson.
He mailed in his man card. When a real strong black woman shows up. Man, how much longer we got on that?
Lord willing, only 30 seconds.
All right, go ahead, and we go cut it there, man.
Yes, sir.
Mechanism creates a kind of disdain for the very thing that they fear that they might become, and it's kind of ludicrous in one way because the whole notion of conceptions of masculinity, of femininity, of idealized expressions of biologically set, genetically determined identities.
All right, stop. Hold on. Stop.
Here we go.
Micaiah, can you please explain? Can you translate what he said, and we're gonna end it on that?
What he said was he was full of sh.
Hey,
That's what I heard too.
all these 14-syllable words to say nothing.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. I.U.I.C has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road. Purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. I.U.I.C, we deliver the truth.